Winternomics will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, winter, Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics.
Greetings, my emotional crowd. How's everybody doing this morning? We are back, bitches. And it's time to get into this shit. Time to get December started properly, right? Smash the like button, subscribe, do what you do. Make sure you're here for the next one. Make sure we're here for the next one, right? Boy, I never feel my head's pointing in the right direction. This thing's so crazy. A little set magic this morning. So how did you guys do? So we said on the weekend call conversation, we would kind of evaluate if we started in the 80s or 90s today. Definitely a lot of emotions in the channel over the weekend. It was worth noting, where we are in the markets, what's happening, and the fact that like people, are starting to fucking have the right sentiment in place for this thing to keep on pushing it. Kaz, do you think that when USA will lose against BRICS, the S&P 500 will be in a severe bear market, or the major damage will be on the USD? When will be available your blog post about space cash? I'm trying to finish that. Just need my motivation to finish the last part of it. Thing took a lot longer than I had actually believed. And that would be to your flu season is really bad. Yeah, our whole house is sicker than fuck. So yeah, flu season's bad. I've been laid out all week over this shit. I'm gonna try to get it done. Honestly, before any more things unfold from the damn blog in real life, I gotta get the thing out. So, it does have a lot of crazy shit in it. Gonna rewrite fucking the human record, I guess, with that one, and probably get canceled like Kanye. I don't know. We'll see what's happening. Apparently, some people are trying to cancel me right now, anyway. So see if they make it. Good luck. Cancel culture is a fucking disease, man. I'll tell you that. But it's really just about sanctioning people's voices to make sure yours get heard, and that's all everybody's ever doing, right? That one thing, making sure that they get their voice over you, and if they have the power to fucking remove you, they'll hide facts. I posted some facts on the internet that clearly pissed people off, but they were just dictionary terms, and they went after me on my account, and like I said, you keep reporting me for shining light on lies, and bitch, I'll fucking keep saying it. So either fucking kill me or fuck off. So since they deleted it, it's definitely always worth looking at when they go after your stuff. So I posted this weekend because, I myself, my son, he is of Semitic origin, and I would hate to see people hate on anyone of Semitic origin. But I think it's always important to understand what a Semite actually is before you get all militant and go chasing people around and stuff and trying to cancel people's lives, Education is an important thing, and people aren't really big on that. So I wanted to leave some education out there, because that's what I do. I educate people, right? You guys know that. I am an educator. The cancel bug is only what people do, man. It's you speak out against religious cultures, from Islam or whatever, and in those populations, they'll try to silence you if you speak against it. And it's just if you have the power to force your will into this world. That's kind of like all there really ever is about for any of us, Do you have the force of will to manifest your reality into this world against all odds and against everyone else's ability? And that's all we do between nations is force our ideologies onto one another, through force. And so it's not something different that's happening on the lower levels. You talk about cancel culture. It's what we individually do. If somebody can shut you up and force you to their fucking will, and if need be, kill you to stop you from fucking stopping them and get away with it, they all would. You can tell how mad people get in just arguments. If they could hit you in the head with a hammer, they'd fucking do it if they wouldn't get in trouble. So it's really about, what can you get away with in forcing your ideas into this world. So, that certain folks have gotten to places where they can pretty much control what we say, like the Gestapo around the world. And if you say the wrong word, whether you be, you have to think about how wild that is, right? The Gestapo, sorry, I'm having some serious breathing situations going on with this fucking flu, so I sound a little crazy. You said the wrong word in Stalin's, Russia or Hitler's Germany, and there'd be a knock on your door, and that'd be the last time your neighbors heard from you, But imagine that we live in a world today in 2022 that you say the wrong word on either side of the Atlantic Ocean, and that same thing can happen to you, I don't think people fully value that. It's one thing to talk about a dictator basically controlling what conversations can be had in a country. It's a whole another to realize that that same structure has risen to multiple nations. Literally the entire Western Alliance is under that kind of situation. So, it's pretty crazy. Oh yeah, YouTube is now going to ban the entire... So this is a weird thing, right? YouTube says they will ban the interview with Alex Jones unless the upload comes with commentary denouncing what's said in the upload. So it's a conditional way to see the video. It's just weird. It's just like, there's neo-Nazi shit all over the web, and they don't have any conditions for leaving that up or not. It's just all over the place. But, there's one specific category that you'll get crucified if you talk on. And it feels a lot like being inside of, Stalin's Russia or Hitler's Germany, that you can't speak just to have a conversation. Anyways, like I said, we don't want to have the wrong people, getting squeezed by this whole thing. So thought it was probably useful to put some things here on video that are just facts. The only way to get crazy, just facts. And, boy, breathing stuff today. If I pass out on the fucking, on the laptop, somebody call somebody. I really can't get a full breath of air. That's pretty crazy. All right. Whew. Man. Fucking super flus. Does anybody remember when you got sick, 10, 15 years ago, you felt like you had a sore throat in the morning, and then maybe the next day you're like, okay, yeah, I really am sick? But like now, you get a sore throat in the morning and you're about to die by like 2 o'clock in the same fucking day. It's like crazy. Yeah, this fucking flu is something crazy, man. All right, let me get my focus back here. So I put a couple things. I want to do this definitions thing on Instagram, and then I'll go over to Twitter. So I did some just general homework people don't do, like, you know, Merriam-Webster's dictionary. So we'll just, you know, read the definition of Merriam-Webster's definition of a Semite, because we don't want to fucking go after the wrong people, and we want to make sure that people are protected from hate, you know. And so who are the people who should be protected by this? Any member of the people who speak or spoke Semitic languages, including particular both Jews and Arabs. Okay, cool. So the entire region are Semites, right? So that is a Semite, the entire area. So we don't want to have any brown folks that might be, you know, under this classification be omitted from such great protections. We all want to stop hate. That's the main thing here, right? Let's make sure we stop that. Resolution's a little low, but it relates again to the same areas where languages came from: Hebrew, Aramaic, Arabic, Akkadians, Phoenicians, the entire region of that time period. And this right here is a nice little chart. I'll show you a better resolution of, one sec, over here, because Instagram sucks for photos. But this shows you like the history of where like languages came from thousands of years ago, and which ones are, you know, the ones you know today. You guys know obviously Hebrew and Arabic, but they all spawned from like Syrian Aramaic, and there's all kinds of crazy branching to our languages and stuff like that. So when you classify and you look at it, you know, what part of this is a Semitic region? It's all of it. All parts of Northern Africa and the Middle East, right? So we have a nice little education, and Epstein's here to help you learn about culture. Relating to Semitic, relating to or denoting a family of languages that include Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic, certain ancient languages such as Phoenician, Akkadian, constituting the main subgroups of Afro-Asiatic families. Cool, right? So everybody feeling a little more educated, right, about what we're talking about? All right, so now we're caught up on that, a little history lesson. We'll move over to, oh, there's Bernie. Bernie don't look too happy, but Bernie's going to be happy in a minute. So we move over to having that definitions, you know, is definitely key. We'll go back over to Instaham. And we look at a quote that we have in our Dow 100 chart, right? Remember I had that Dow technology chart on my blog? Hang on for a minute, let's go get that, because that's always good to look at the blog again. So this is fun, don't worry. You'll see where this is going momentarily. Dude, that always takes so long to load when I'm live. Today, Jackson. Unreal. Well, it's not loading, so I'm going to have to do it some other way. Oh, there it goes. You guys remember in the Truth About Money blog post, I gave you this chart to show you, wow, there it is. Huh. I wonder what's missing here. Interesting. We gave you this chart, and we gave you that quote. Right? These are the architects of your credit system. This is where the magic leverage money machine, infinite money machine came from, and the ability to leverage the planet's resources and fucking expand the human potential at crazy speeds. Not all of us are on the same side of the equation, but without this thing, all of us complaining about it wouldn't be here. Anyway, it's a great quote they always had that I always admired, right? 1, let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws. That's the architect, right? And the sons, the few who understand the system will either be so interested in its profits or be so dependent upon its favors that there'll be no opposition from that class. While on the other hand, the great body of people mentally incapable of comprehending the tremendous advantage that capital derives from the system would bear its burdens without complaint and perhaps without even suspecting that the system is inimical to their interests. Basically bad for you. Inimical means bad for you. And these are the brothers in 1863, quoted in a publication. All right, so really cool. All right, so everyone's too stupid to know what you're caught in. Great. So follow these guys to 1917, end of World War I. And we're going to Google this for you, because people don't like to use Google. So I'm going to Google this word for you. And here it is. All right. What is this? This is a public document that you can look up, and it's, just historical document in 1917. Nothing secret or weird, just part of history. End of World War I, making a deal that says, Dear Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with the, Federation aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a nation home for his people, and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil religious rights of the existing populations, communities in Palestine, or the rights and the political status enjoyed by, or folks in any other country. I shall be, and yes, I can't say things, so I'm going to be careful. I should be careful if you bring this declaration and knowledge to your federation. Cool. So we're going to make a deal to create a country in another country, with a country that has the right to do it for I don't know what. So, all right, that makes sense. So back down here to definitions. Wait for it. All right. I thought another great definition was an interesting one to look up was this word that we all know but don't really read the definitions for either. Where does it come from? Because when we talk about Native Americans, we know what genocide is. But this is the actual original meaning of this word. And I thought that was pretty interesting because this implies that there's something in exchange of, rather than it just an outright, anomalous event. And I thought that was a crazy thing to fucking see in historical records. Well, we're just reading definitions, So after that, this deal seems to work out anyway, and this happens. So being that these are Semites on the green piece of land, right, what's happening is definitely anti-Semitic. And it's definitely worth looking at, from that perspective that everybody in this region is this, and everyone should definitely probably be, defended against the hateful ways of anti-Semitism. I agree with that fully. And let's make sure the Semites are protected. Don't you guys agree? I think so. You know what I'm saying? So, now, we want to make sure that, we don't speak where we're not qualified to speak. I think that's always important too. So I'm going to let someone speak who is qualified to speak. If you guys will bear with me one moment.
Caucasian Jewish people.
I'm going to get someone who is qualified to handle the next segment that you guys can respect as a messenger that doesn't look like a lunatic. All right? So let's have Mr. Rosenberg help you guys understand a little history. Ready, set.
Here we are, I'm speaking, we're Caucasian Jewish people. And now you have people in Africa saying that they're the real people of Israel. It can't be ruled out at all. I'd like to bring up a few specific examples, because they're going to be game changers. Deep into Africa. And if you look now, you're seeing people who are most likely the descendants of those slaves who kept true. One of them wrote letters to Israel when it became a state. And they said, we're Israelites out in Africa. Everyone laughed at them and they said, African Israelites, these people are just trying to jump on the first world country bandwagon. They're living in a third world country, they got nothing. We're coming to Israel, we got innovation, technology. So they're trying to get on this train because there's such a thing called the right of return. All descendants of the Jewish people from around the world are able to move to Israel. So they said we are also. A few people took it serious and went out there and started studying them. And a professor from Duke University went out there and did DNA testing on them. These gentlemen, a large percent of them, have the Y chromosome to be Kohanim, to be priests. Now, if anyone who doesn't know, a priest is a specific family clan of the nation of Israel who come from Aaron, the brother of Moses, who was the first priest. And anyone descended from Aaron has the status title priest. And we found that these men in this village in South Africa called Lemba, L-E-M-B-A, carry this genetic marker to let us know that they share the same as from the Sephardic and the Ashkenaz and the population of people in Israel today. They share the same exact DNA marker. It's mind-blowing. So everyone kind of got humbled a little bit, who laughed at them and said, now what? Now what do we do about this? This could have tremendous implications. Another area in Africa you have something big happening is in Nigeria. You have the Igbo people. There's 40 million of them, also Christians. Like I spoke about before, how that could happen to the children of Israel very easily. But also a lot of them are now coming out and converting back or adopting the rules of the Torah without all the paganism that they've been practicing for hundreds of years. And where it gets interesting is, in America, there was a slave trade. And a lot of the slaves, a very high percentage of them, came from Western Nigerian ports. And in America today, you see a very large movement of African Americans who say that they're the real chosen people, that they're the children of Israel, they're the Judeans. You know, so what are they just trying to create an identity for themselves because they were slaves, or is there really something here? And the answer is, most likely there is something there. And most likely, maybe that they were the original Israelites, or maybe that the Jewish people today who are white, Caucasian people, came in a little bit later on.
Motherfucker, what? Let's hear that again.
You know, so what are they just trying to create an identity for themselves because they were slaves, or is there really something here? And the answer is, most likely there is something there. And most likely, maybe that they were the original Israelites, or maybe that the Jewish people today who are white, Caucasian people, came in a little bit later on. We know that some of the greatest sages of the transmission of the Torah were converts from Rome. So here we are, we're Caucasian Jewish people, and now you have people in Africa saying that they're the real people of Israel. It can't be ruled out at all. We know they were sold into slavery. We know now that they're fulfilling prophecies by saying, we're coming back.
That's who's speaking right there, Harry Rosenberg. So, it's not a secret. Just the wrong person brought it up, you know. And I want to make sure we have all the information out there to consider before we direct this raging hate in the wrong directions. That tends to happen when people are emotional, you know. I think it's very important that, you know, people understand that this, you know, the difference between facts and propaganda. And it's really important. You know, this is something Malcolm X spoke on himself actually a while ago.
Are you anti-Semitic? Are you anti-Semitic? Are you anti-Semitic?
Anti-Semitic.
You've many of the things that I've read about you, and you've made a mention a couple of times about the Jews and everything, and I'm wondering if you are personally anti-Semitic.
No. How can I be anti-Semitic when the Arabs are half the Muslim world is Semitic? If I was anti-Semitic, I'd be anti-Arab and anti-everything else. No, I think that in this country, there's one...
So, that's probably all we need to hear of that one, because he's a little crazy. Right? So he made that point, right? Who are Semites? And it's an entire region, right? It's not one person. And so I think that's an important distinction to make. That's very hard to get put in front of anyone without being attacked for it. But if we really are free, we can have this conversation, I think, right? And so nobody wants to see hate directed at anyone. Nobody wants to see anyone genocided in broad daylight. That's obviously terrible, right? And so I think that's something that everybody needs to look at with a, you know, a level head and a clear mindset. So, you know, Merriam-Webster's dictionary can do amazing things for understanding the world around you. It's really hard to debate definitions, and I think, you know, we all can agree on that. I've never seen anybody go ham on fucking Merriam-Webster. So I think we need to take the temperature down a little bit, and, you know, maybe Kanye and Kyrie aren't as crazy as they said. Maybe they weren't as articulate in doing what they said, and there was some wrong shit in there. But it's worth the conversation. All things are. All right, if that doesn't somehow cancel my fucking station, you know, I don't know. Anyways, biologically proven, right, by Israel itself. So, if we're really free or we're not free. So, you know, tribal war things. So, anyways, got that segment in. Let's hope this is not my last show. I don't have billions to get canceled and recover or so. Right now, Kanye ain't doing so hot. Let's see, LTC. I see you guys asking for some stuff. Shout your way through some morning bits at the show. Simadez, Deadpool, censored user. Appreciate you guys. So anyways, yeah, there's a lot of hot heads out there, a lot of emotions. We already talked about that mass shooting thing on the chart. And like, it just seems like the world's like at a fucking like a crazy place. But you know what's funny about that? What's funny about the world, tell me guys that you've been in the show following along as we track the VIX and stuff over time. Tell me right now that the climate out there doesn't feel like a 27 to a 32 VIX. Guys, we've been in a sustained VIX environment, a high environment for quite a while, right? And it feels like fucking people are hot and bothered. But we're through 21. I don't think anybody realizes it, right? The world feels like it's still up here. But the smart money doesn't fucking price that in at all. We know how many times we've seen the VIX pretty high and felt people fucking like around us literally losing their collective shit. But the VIX is pretty low. And people are still losing their collective shit. I don't think people know there's a bull market out there somewhere. Do you? I don't think so. So, anyways. There was a chart I wanted to find. I can't remember the name of the guy. There you are. So I thought I'd look at something. You guys saw the whole Cassandra thing. We can never pull up fucking Michael Burry because he deletes everything off his page because he's a fucking pussy. But, there's some interesting things I look at. I follow some people online, and bias is a fucking huge killer. So this guy, he's pretty smart fundamentally, and I followed this guy recently, and some interesting things I see. So I wanted to explore some charts he posted, talking along the lines of where the VIX is, what people are expecting, and everyone knows what the Fed is doing obviously right now, right? When the Fed said that they might slow down the pace of interest rate hikes if they saw some cracks in the market, then it was basically, remember, the whole goal of Fed jacking up rates was to slow down inflation by forcing people into the job market to make sure companies don't have to pay excess money to get someone to work at McDonald's, right? Because nobody needs to work because they've got stimulus money or whatever. They're trying to drain the money out of the marketplace to force you back to work, to control wage inflation. And if people start to lose jobs, then they don't have to be as aggressive because that's the point. They're trying to force you back out there to get the historically low unemployment rates to a place there's enough people in the labor pool to make sure that you don't have to overpay us. So that's what the Fed does when you run hot, right? So we look at this. This guy's pretty good with fundamentals. In this, he takes the University of Michigan consumer sentiment, inverted, and shifts it forward by 10 months. When he shifts it forward, right, you see the employment rate. So the green one is the Michigan consumer sentiment, and what he's trying to do is pick up on the job number future, right? This thing should likely tell you where the job number is going to be, and it should have a lagging, he's trying to close the lagging effect of it to say the consumer sentiment is going to be darkest when people are losing jobs and things like that. So here he's inverted it. So this is people's pessimism, right? People being negative consumer sentiment, and a differential between the job employment rate. So this should, if he's right about what he sees here, that it should likely lead this thing to be a horrible job number coming in December. It seems possible, right? This is the historical low bottom of unemployment rates. It's ridiculous. In the threes is a super tight labor market, and generally like a boom time type situation going into 2020 before COVID. So you're there now, super tight labor market, and the world's not even open. If the world opened back up, you would literally have fucking an inflation spike from hell trying to find labor to actually accelerate the economy. So the Fed needs people to come out of work. If he's right, and the job number is bad, that was actually bullish because it meant the Fed was going to stop attacking the market. I can't get enough air. I'll be right back. I gotta take a second, guys.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4,
right, I definitely got to speed this up and finish real quick. I'm definitely, it's like I can't get a whole air through this mask and stuff, and this whatever the fuck is wrong with me. So this guy's projection, if he's right, and you lose a bunch of people in the job market, right, would be bullish to stop the Fed to fucking killing us with the interest rate hikes. He then did a seasonality chart, and he did the average performance of bear markets, all years, and bull markets. And this is fascinating for what reason, right? Are we in a bear or bull market? Well, not everything's in a bear. We know the Dow is actually technically in a bull, isn't it? So there is no real Christmas rallies in the December periods. But if you're in a bull market, December's pretty good. So it really matters where you're looking, doesn't it? If you're looking at this versus if you're looking at this. See, I know he's looking at this, but we're looking at this because we're looking at this. So his analysis is probably right in certain perspectives, but the fact is, if we're watching a bull market, December is something to keep your eyes on. Hot emotions, a huge fucking count of murders going into this period that has got correlations to great buying opportunities. And a lot of people staring at tech like Kathy Woods, waiting for that shit to pop when we could be in a fucking major cyclical reversal for the last fucking 20 years, right? So if this is more than what it looks like, and people are really on the wrong end of this entire cycle, because they're really on the wrong end of this entire cycle, where's our TNX chart? This guy. So if they're on the wrong side of like this mega cycle, right? This is from the 80s. We look at this guy down here, and we look at like this guy here, and we look at the cycle from like the internet bubble. And if this fucking like, if this cycle is like, you know, going to sustain slower interest rate hikes, but really a general rotation to fucking the risk of the country, he may be on the wrong side of the market. So I don't know, for you guys paying attention to defense stocks, hope you guys kill these things. Where was it? You guys had a sheet for this? Where is it? I have drawings for this thing. Oh, right. There it is. So hope you guys pay attention. These guys came out with some crazy ass B-21 bomber. Fucking thing looks fucking like a fucking UFO. So your defense guys, you know, get money as long as Putin's doing what he's doing. These are really good, easy ones to pay attention to in the industrial side of the market that we think is a bull market that no one's looking at. So definitely worth paying attention to. Tell you get a little pullback and rotation here. So we should keep our eyes on this for December. A lot of people don't. A lot of people are definitely looking, you know, in the wrong place at this moment. You guys talked about Oxy, right? He's one of the energy guys, and there's obviously different sides of energy you want to pay attention to. Chevron just got rights to start pumping oil in Venezuela, and you know, ExxonMobil. These guys are in places that, you know, with industrials, nobody's looking at all. You know, the market looks is just a split market. People still want to see the comeback of Tesla. People are still looking at AMD, and they're good for bounces, but right, they're not really on the side of the market where the strength is at all. You know, not in a fucking rising rate environment. Are these giant bull flags? Totally. Are these fucking ready to go though? Totally. So it's a matter of where you're looking. Sorry, I'm running out of gas to do this, so I think let me do the macro and get you guys out of here. I don't think this is COVID, but this is like fucking sucking the wind out of me. I'm not gonna die or anything. I just can't get enough air. I'll get this done. All right. Sorry, I'm wrecked. All right, let's see. Fucking flu. Fucking can't stand it. So we always pay attention to our S&P deal. And our worry here, right, is paying attention as hitting the angle. We're hitting the down angle from the very beginnings of the pullback from the December, from when the Fed's rate policy started to affect the market, and where we have a bear flag, which is a low resolution uptrend, to that trend line, which is just like this one, that corrected to make the new low, which became a 2B of that low from the summer that we played. And now we're here, and we're like, you know, the possibilities are you can deflect and correct off the angle a little bit, possibly come back, and test the angle of the bear flag, and it's going to have two choices. Either we're going to go flying out of here and we're going to fucking follow the Dow Jones, and we're going to break this massive bull flag back to the upside, or we're going to prove that this is a bear flag here and probably fail it and get a structure we can fuck with on the way out again if we're going to Armageddon. So being that we're saying that Dow looks strong and we see some industrial components, there's probably, we think, a better chance that we're heading out of it this way. This is a good sentiment level we had here. Where is it? That one? So energy's death to a nation. It's a good swing level. If you guys remember where that one came from. So good swing level up and down, right? It comes from back in here. And good pumps above it, good dumps below it. So we have a good little sentiment level. We stay above it. The flag could be high and tight. It could be shorter than what I projected here. It could even be just, it could be, it could even be this small. And rotate out of here and go right out. So, while it starts this, you follow the low resolution downtrend it does, and it proves itself to rotate sooner than later. Don't call it, don't bet against it. So right now we're going to open a little down off of last week. But, like I said, there's a lot of things that look pretty bullish, and just give them the time to set up for you if this is going to continue. If it's going to rotate, you'll have time to figure it out, This guy is a low resolution uptrend, but he's just not the strength. So even if the market continues higher, can he continue higher? Yeah. Just can underperform the whole time and be kind of shitty, except for off moments where there's breathers in the tech side of the market. So you keep monitoring this. Draw your uptrend into it, and just pay attention to your uptrend line. All right, DXY things. We want to see this guy keep falling to allow us this trend directionality here is what I told you to pay attention to your USD, right? If you guys did, you hopefully caught like some premium on this guy. It's a pretty easy play last week. And this is still going in line with the market having a risk on appetite, not de-risking. And same with the VIX, right? These guys are maintaining these channels, and this is allowing the markup not in tech as hard, but in diamonds, in Dow industrial components. So it doesn't break trend, don't call it until it does, right? For right now, we've got a pretty clear channel to follow on the VIX. And there could be a breather in here, just back to 21. But for right now, this is a hell of a trend to go to 21. And right now, this is the last time we're here. We boxed and rotated, and this was Armageddon. So you know what you're paying attention to. Back above 21 is always caution. Fix DXY. Crypto things. So BTC hasn't really been the strength at all. Obviously, pretty much anything else but. So like we talked about Litecoin, right? So if you guys pay attention to this. Didn't do as big a bull flag as we said, but it's pretty decent. Let me back up on this guy. So right there, better time frame. Oh yeah, I have a bunch of different Litecoin charts. So this one is one I showed you just to get some of the noise off of it. And this is when you come out of a bottom of a bull flag, you get your ultimate low on the bull flag, and you possibly get your low resolution uptrend, which is the bear flag possible. But if it's not, you play this resolution, and you can play into that wave for the rotation, right? You always see us draw rotations like a curve and stuff. And it's good to think of it like that, right? It's like a curve that happens through time, and that curve allows price to stay in a stable range here, which allows you to get a shit ton of volume, which allows you to have a good monopoly of perception to mark up. So when you curve through time like that, right, you tend to just actually stay sideways. Most people don't notice that, but that gives you your volume build that lets you go fucking pumping out that way. So you've got a good setup, and we said Litecoin is worth paying attention to because this guy doesn't have strength unless there's some risk-seeking appetite in the market still. So the other good ones you tell you to keep your eyes on are things like Matic and stuff, right? These guys are some of your more interesting ones down in the trenches. And of course, Doge has been doing weird shit. But so crypto, that being said, there's definitely been some like resilience in the weekend with that. And, this goes more into the risk on picture that's still in certain places in the market. But crypto is still, I think, more closely aligned with like tech and stuff like that. And I think that's, that's noteworthy that this looks like the chart that this guy has. This looks like this. See this? A low, and then this rolling flag here. It's literally exactly what that kind of looks like, right? That same kind of structure. but that's actually kind of bullish, isn't it? That's this setup down here at this resolution. All right. That's what we did here. That's what this whole setup was, this yellow setup. The low, and then what is a bear trap that can rotate in your face. So even though he's actually pulling that structure, that actually does look like the structure we have right now, a bigger version of what we played out of the summer. Actually, the low, the bull flag that sets up, that looks like a bear trap to a person in a different res, and then the rotation off of good emotions, which we have a shit ton of, we know right here. So we're in an interesting spot, you know, I think on a bigger res on crypto things. We look at that, like I said, unless crypto is going to go to the grave right now and all of Sam's systemic risk isn't really understood, I don't think people who miss the summer lows get a second shot at ETH. And so if we get back there, I think it's a very bad thing. So I think there's a chance you're looking at a possible low, like that yellow flag in here, like a larger fractal of it in here is possible. If the market keeps dragging higher without any more shocks to crypto, there's a chance this can keep on going. So that would be our macro things. So, all right, I can't breathe, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, I'm fucking dying. It's 9/11. I'll do a couple symbols. I don't know if it's pneumonia, but man, I can't like get a whole breath in me. It feels better than it did about 20 minutes ago, so I'm all right. I'm not gonna die on you guys or anything. If I thought it would, this shit's definitely going off the air. I'm not gonna let you see that. Let's see, would it be possible instead of the VIX sustaining a higher level as a new normal, the VIX going back to 21 as a relatively, it would be back there? Well, I think you have, like I said, in the 2020s with the kind of geopolitical situation we have, I think you have a chance of sustaining a new normal to the VIX, and that's why we were like living inside the 20s and 30s. You can have like a new normal baseline to fear. I think that is quite possible. So yeah, throw me symbols, and I'm gonna do these in fucking skedaddle. Let's see. ASMR. ASMR? No, I'm kidding. All right, let me get this next to the chart. All right, ASML. All right, it's a semiconductor, right? Semiconductors. So semiconductor infrastructure bill and all that stuff. I mean, all of what the semiconductor bill they're trying to put forward. Yeah, some of these guys do look pretty fucking good, outside of the broader tech itself looking good. Like, some of these guys do have potential to do things. I think, these were worth looking at. Even though we're looking at Dow, there are still some guys that are beaten to a pulp that were worth like checking out. And I think some of the guys, the semiconductor build is something to pay attention to, we had this rotation projection here, and these are still bull flags. Like I said, tech looks like, ETH looks like this guy's, this chart here. And this is still structurally, when you look at this is a seasonal chart, but this structure is bullish. If this rotates with the floor here, this is your higher floor, and that's an uptrend. And that's what ETH looks like, and that's what really beaten down tech looks like. And I think you have a good chance of seeing things like NOC and these guys be stronger, but there can be like, if they keep on pushing, I don't think these guys just stay down. I just think they don't perform as hard to the upside as long as this holds true. So, but yeah, they do this. That's ASML, ASML. So, did I not have a chart for that guy? ASML. I guess not. So right now we need to know, is he leaving out that structure right now? He could be. Looks like he's trying to. But I think, this is kind of what you're watching, and see if he managed to carry his way to, contact this angle or something around here. So I think you're paying attention to that. But like I said, you want to understand the side of the market's your best of breed, and is ASML the best of breed right now? There's definitely a catch-up rally in tech off of a pretty big short squeeze here. As long as that doesn't lose steam, but I think the bulk of the fucking speed and power of this happened here. So Now, if you see what the market, structures out, if it's going to be tilted towards industrials or tech, you'd have to obviously make sure you context that on the resolution that's necessary for what you're planning. You guys asked me for a symbol from someplace I don't know. What is this? JSEANG. I think this is South Africa. Anglo Gold. That's AU over here. Okay, it's okay, yeah, we have that one. Anglo over there. I think in this space, nuance your best of breed. So that has just more chart. I don't know what's going on with yours, but ANG, that's weird. So I don't know why you don't have the rest of this chart, but this is the more complete chart. So we're going to use this because you can't see some stuff that on yours. Right here is a currency situation, right? ANG and having this price differential is really what happened between the USD ZAR, and that changed like what you're seeing in the structure of the chart. So we're going to still use AU just because I don't have the data I need to have for that other guy. So we look at this range over here. I'm going to carry that guy forward and see where he's at. I think that's kind of what you're looking at. Gold itself is starting to look a little bit better, but kind of really trapped, not really moving just yet. But some of these guys are starting to look a little better. GLD. Watching this guy, we have him on radar. So I think you're kind of watching that, but I don't think gold is like a leading space just yet. Some stuff is a lot better, like copper. Look at copper and like guys like FCX. These guys are like screaming higher. A lot more strength is over here in some basic materials and non-precious. These guys have been insanely strong, and we talked about this guy on the show before. Pretty good play. Did exactly what I said. Nomics and flag, and then probably pushing here. You guys seen that? You guys in the channel? Not this. Other steel guys. Nucor. What is this? This is not it. I'm retarded. Alright, a lot of these guys we talked about, big res, we talked about these non-precious dudes, X and all of them, right? There's definitely some big strength in these guys. He didn't come out of this, he sustained this angle. But with industrials, you're seeing like non-precious metals run, and not so much like strength to like, just really some beginning strength to this. But gold is kind of a laggard right now in the metals basket. Sorry. I know I have a better chart than this for silver. What did we do silver on? We did silver on something. I know we did this already. I know I did the silver chart. What did I do it on? SLV? Oh, yeah, we'll just use SLV for now. That was our silver chart that we were waiting for. So he bounced off the box that we put down here, and then a rotation to the other side of the angle, and when he gets here, you have to figure him out when he hits the angle, and wait for a structure to give you a chance to go rotate up here if he's going to continue that. And silver is obviously kind of a more industrial than precious metal compared to gold. Lulu Oxy. Lululemon. Love me some Lululemon. That can't be what I did. L-U-L-U. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we did this on the show a while ago, whenever this was. And this was a questionably possible higher floor coming out of the bottom. It was like he held it. and then a flag up here, something like this should have formed, and it looked like he counted off of that, and he did it over here, and now he's rotated out. So this thing happened down there. And yeah, he's rotating the big bull flag, and your next triggerable zone is this old system high up here. And see this box? You let him structure out something when he gets in there. He'll do some kind of horse shit like this, most likely, and give you a new structure to plan on at this level. So if you're not in it now, it's kind of like the kind of thing you gotta be patient and let him give you a chance to, like, you know, work your way into this. Thor Industries. What is this in? Consumer durables, recreational products. Doesn't look like one of the strongest things in durables. But the bull flag nonetheless. I think there's other things that are much stronger in durables. I don't have a comparable for him right now, but I know there's other guys that look a lot better than this at this point in time. So I think that's kind of what you're seeing. I think there's other stuff in the space that's a little stronger, but this guy likely is not, you know, doing anything but structuring for a rotation back up to its highs. Oxy, Warren Buffett's baby. We had this, so still watching potential for him to pull back more. I think this is a generational play Buffett's making. So is it possible he does something like this and rotates? That is. Can he sustain this trend angle? That's the alternative option. That he holds this and keeps on, you know, trending out that way and follows out, you know, other assets in the space that are showing crazy strength all over energy. So definitely keeping eyes on it, right? XOP is kind of like structured like this, but right now if you're paying attention to, like, you know, refiners and stuff like that, refiners are like here. They're a little bit different structured than guys that are, you know, in the infrastructure. So there's different segments of the market that you're watching right now, and the broad, you know, energy sector is, you know, pushing higher. So you're paying attention to this right now, and if this rotates out, you know, fucking pretty much all of energy is gonna haul ass behind this thing. Let's see. LTC BTC. Well, I did LTC USD. Alright, fuck. USD MXN, just to get this out of the way. I think I have that somewhere, didn't I? USD MXN. Oh, that's OG chart. Huh. Wonder how long ago we made that. So, I like that trigger. And this is, man, this must have been made fucking years ago. I don't use this shape ever. That's what you're watching. If he peels out of here, the dollar keeps weakening, DXY keeps doing what it's doing, then a lot of things are going to keep correcting against the dollar. CAD has not been one of them. He's been a lot weaker, but, like, again, you know, if you look at, like, USD Euro, right now you're in the pullback of the DXY, and so that's what you're seeing in this right now. If it continues, this guy could come very much out of this this little rising wedge formation and continue this downtrend that you'd want to remap as so. So if he follows it, continues this angle and keeps following it, it very much can be a short right out of this wave. Otherwise, you're watching for rotation to hold in this congestion and the DXY to reassert itself. SB1, so we asked for, which is sugar. We did sugar. There you go. Thank God that's done, because I'm dying. So yeah, this guy right here, you know, above trigger. Commodities being, you know, in the kind of a bull market, you know, in some places, food definitely a concern. This is probably something to keep your eyes on, right? With a few other commodities showing strength. And then LTC BTC is the last thing. All right, we're done. All right, LTC BTC is on. LTC BTC is on. LTC. Polynex. All right, remember I showed you this, the 2B on this March low right here. So you got down here, and then you're watching the low resolution uptrend, right? LTC had some strength you told you to pay attention to, and he's been flying here, you know, in this low resolution uptrend. So you should adjust this if you're graphing that. That's the uptrend you're following now. Just like it come out of the lows, like in the summer or this last, you know, low resolution uptrend we have in the S&P and the Dow, you know, track that. So when you're dealing with a mega trend to the downside, a low resolution counter wave, it's a bear flag until it flips, the primary wave that's taking you down. So for right now, it's still a low recent uptrend. You play in that universe until it proves otherwise, So yeah, still bullish and doing what we said for we showed you here. Still waving and see if it keeps on going. All right, guys, I'm gonna go fucking drop dead on the floor right now. Y'all don't lose any money. Stay safe. Catch you on the flip. Peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome